Thank you. Good evening. Whoa, that is loud. I'm loud. So welcome, and thank you so much for having me be your very first commencement speaker for your very first commencement, and congratulations to the 2013 class. And actually, congratulations to all of you here today. And I do mean all of you. Parents, families, friends, and teachers. Every single person here tonight has given something to make this moment possible for the class of 2013. But special congratulations again to the graduates. So I want to now engage everyone in this auditorium in something created by the children's television host, Mr. Rogers. So whether you are a graduate, parent, family member, friend, or a teacher, think, if you will, of some of the people who helped get you to today. People who've loved you, and without whose care and generosity you might not have found yourself here tonight, either graduating from Alcott, watching someone you love graduate, or seeing your students graduate. So think for just 10 seconds of those who have loved you up into this day, those that you will always remember for what they've contributed to you so far. Go ahead, I'll keep the time. Thank you. So this past Sunday, I met a man named Tom Sapolsky over dinner in New York City. Just the night before, he had attended his 50-year high school reunion. He and his wife were standing at the edge of the dance floor doing what they love to do most, people watch, when a man with a bushy gray beard walked over to them. He reached out his hand to Tom to introduce himself. "I'm Frank," he said. See, Frank had moved to the United States from Germany in his junior year of high school. He spoke very little English back then, and he had a very thick German accent. The students in the school often took advantage of this language handicap and would make unkind comments to him and about him. They would mislead him with English interpretations and encourage him to say inappropriate things to others, even to other teachers. But there was one student that stuck up for him. One student who would say, "Hey, that's not cool. Cut it out." One student who even got the rest of the football team to say hi to Frank and make him feel welcome at the school. So Frank introduces himself to Tom Sapolsky. And Tom, of course, shakes his hand and says, "Nice to meet you, Frank. I'm Tom." But before he can even say Sapolsky, Frank interrupts. And he says, "Oh, I know who you are. I've never forgotten what you did for me over 50 years ago. I just wanted to come over and say thank you for the impact you made on my entire life." Now, Tom certainly didn't recognize Frank. In fact, he barely remembered him at all. They weren't buddies. They didn't even hang out in school. They had not even seen themselves since graduation, until now. But while Tom didn't remember Frank, Frank definitely remembered Tom. Because when you do what Tom Sapolsky did, when you stand up for someone, when you take care of someone, and when you protect someone's dignity, that person never, ever forgets you. And they can be forever impacted by your actions. Which brings me to you. All of you. While I'm certainly here to help you celebrate and applaud the graduating class of 2013, I'm also here to share a message with every person in this room. Because each of you plays different roles in life. Student, parent, relative, friend, co-worker, volunteer, activist, husband, wife, partner, girlfriend, boyfriend, and even total stranger to the many you see each day. And each of us sees and hears a lot of things in our lives every day. And some of these situations are inappropriate. They're unhealthy, they're offensive, they're unsafe, they're immoral, and they're even illegal. We see things that happen. We hear things that are said. And the moral compass in each of us is triggered. In many situations, it tells us, do something. Say something. There are certainly times we do, like Tom did for Frank. Unfortunately, there are way too many times when we don't. So I'm here tonight to speak to any of you who have ever wanted to intervene for someone in a moment of need. But you didn't. You stayed silent. You laughed along. You walked away. You participated. You froze. So actually, if we all tell the truth to ourselves right now, I am here tonight to speak to each and every person in this auditorium. Because anyone who can hear my voice, because you see, we are all bystanders at certain points in our lives to certain things that we see or hear. So I invite you now. Invite you to think of a moment when you wanted to intervene for someone in a moment of need. But you didn't. Even take yourself back to that moment as though it's happening right now. Not to make yourself feel bad again, but simply as a reference for the rest of the time we're together. So as I travel this country speaking to schools, organizations, companies, and communities, I give everyone in my audience, as I did for the students at Alcott, the opportunity to text me their personal story to my iPad. To date, I have received nearly 4,000 stories, collected them on my iPad, and most of them are very heartbreaking. The impact that this has on each of us, on others, and on society cannot be calculated. I recently wrote a blog post entitled, "I Refuse to Believe." Call me idealistic, call me a positive thinker, even call me optimistic. But when it comes to these actions, or lack of actions, I refuse to believe this is actually what we want to do in those moments of time. I refuse to believe that we don't care and that we don't want to make the difference for those being impacted. I refuse to believe that we don't know the difference between right and wrong. I choose to believe that we do care and that we want the best for each other. I choose to believe that every single one of us has values of kindness, generosity, courage, compassion, respect, and acceptance. And these act as our moral compass. I choose to believe that what we really want is to intervene and make the difference for others, to keep each other safe and protected, to show dignity and respect. See, we are all committed to being a certain kind of human being in life, and there are actions we want to take as a demonstration of who we say that we are and want to be for others. So in our own respective and unique ways, we actually say, this is who I am, and this is what you can count on me for. So, here's the question. Do your actions in life match what you say? If I gave each of you a hypothetical situation, like one where someone was in trouble and they needed someone's intervention, and then I asked you, what would you do? Would you say you would intervene in some way? Now, if you take all the reasons and justifications and excuses, doubts, fears, and rationalizations away from the equation, we all believe that we would intervene in that situation. Because it's the noble thing to say. And this actually matches who we say we are in life, right? Not so quick. While we want to believe otherwise, we don't actually know what we will do in the reality of any momentary choice when it is happening. We don't know. We simply want to believe that we will do what is right. So many of us in this room have had at least one moment that made a lasting impact, an indelible mark on our lives, one that we have never forgotten, one that we have never forgiven ourselves for. So I hope you're now asking, Mike, how do I have my actions match who I am committed to being in life? Awesome question. And my answer is in the form of a challenge. So graduates, parents, family members, friends, and teachers, I invite us all tonight to draw the line. I invite you to declare what you will and what you won't put up with, what you will no longer tolerate seeing or hearing. I invite you to set new limits regarding those things most important to you. It may be around bullying. Where will you draw the line? It may be around sexual harassment, abuse, or violence. Where will you draw the line? It may be around the abuse of alcohol or drugs, or both. Where will you draw the line? It may be around some form of discrimination of others, racism, sexism, homophobia. Where will you draw the line? And it may be around people's language or how others are treated. Where will you draw the line? Then, don't let yourself off the hook. Once you've drawn that line, have your actions be a match for that declaration. When you see something happening, or maybe you hear something being said that goes beyond the line you've now drawn, you will first need to go beyond what might stop you and have you freeze in your own fears. And then choose an appropriate, effective, and safe action to take. It may be grabbing someone's car keys before they drive under the influence. It may be saying something in that moment or later to someone who just made an inappropriate comment or told an offensive joke. It may be grabbing someone's arm and removing them from a risky situation. It may be simply doing nothing in protest to what others are doing. It may be grabbing your cell phone and calling 911, even recording on video what is happening as evidence for the authorities. And it may be walking up to the bullies and letting them know, as Tom did, that what they are doing will not be tolerated. And then showing the victim the dignity they deserve and need. So, whether you are entering the next chapter of your life, going to work tomorrow morning, dropping your kids off at school, walking down the streets where you live, or just interacting with the many people around you, hold yourself accountable for the you that you have committed to being. And then have your actions always match your commitments and the line you've now drawn in order to make the difference for others, for society, and even for you. As the author John Green said to the graduating class of Butler University just this year, "Let me submit to you that this is the actual definition of a good life. You want to be the kind of person who other people who may not even be born yet, will think about in their own moments of silence, years from now, at their own commencements." I'm going to hazard a guess that relatively few of us in this room closed our eyes and thought of all the work and the love that Selena Gomez or Justin Bieber put into making this moment possible for us. Right, we may be taught that the people to admire and emulate are actors and musicians and sports heroes and professionally famous people. But when we look at the people who've actually helped us, the people who've actually changed lives, relatively few of them are publicly celebrated. We do not think of the money they had, but of their generosity. We do not think of how beautiful or powerful they are, but how willing they were to sacrifice for us. So willing at times that we might not have even noticed that they were making sacrifices. So to support you tonight in living this good life, I have a gift for you in this room. I want to make the resources of the Responsibility Project available to each and every one of you. So if you want to take out your smartphones and put this website address in, keep it for your memory, and either go home or even do it right now, you can go to raproject.org/Alcott. That's raproject.org/Alcott. Here you can take the Everyday Hero Pledge and get free support tools to live this kind of life and make this kind of difference once you've drawn the line. Again, that is raproject.org/Alcott. So in closing, you now all have a choice. You can leave here tonight and let society to continue to exist as it does, where way too many people are being bullied, harassed, violated, and even murdered. You can continue walking through your own life, not aware of how great you are and how much you really can make the difference for others. Or you can choose to leave tonight having drawn the line and have your actions match this declaration so that we will all feel safe, protected, and honored for who we are. You can walk out these doors tonight and let things continue to exist as they are. Or you can choose to walk out these doors tonight, be present to the people around you, love them more, and take care of them. You can choose to walk out these doors empowered to make the difference, bit by bit, person by person, cause by cause, action by action. Thank you, and congratulations to the Alcott class of 2013.